everyone, John Henry here, SlingshotFutures.com. Today we're going to be doing an interesting little study, kind of covering some big market movements and really how they can impact the markets. In this case, we're going to be talking about a very common thing. It's crude oil inventories. They come out every week. They come out on Wednesday, typically. Today they came out on Thursday because of the holiday, Monday. But the inventories that come out have a big swing in the markets. And this goes for anything that has a repetitive or surprise news. Natural gas has inventories on Thursdays at 10:30. Same thing. The agricultural markets have WASDE reports and crop progress reports that can cause big swings. Anything that causes a big swing in the market, those can be studied, and there can be a lot of information that lines up with those areas. So here we have crude oil on the 29th. Now, the reason it's on the 29th is because that is last week, Wednesday. That is the inventory day. And as we can see, the inventories came out right here. Pretty obvious that they came out. And what we want to do is we want to look at the high of that candle. We want to look at the low of that inventory candle. We also want to look at potentially the open and close of that candle. Those can all create areas of interest, but I'm more interested in the high and low. The big swing that happened when that news report came out. How does this affect the markets going forward? Now, obviously, on a day, the same day that that number came out, it's going to have a pretty big impact. As we can see here, they had the news come out that day, and later that day, that acted as support. Big surprise, right? Who cares? The part that I care about is, does this support and resistance continue on through the rest of the week? And this is where things start getting a little bit interesting. Because this same level, right, we'll mark this up right here. I'll make this a little bit thicker here. So let's make this a thickness of 5. Don't know what happened to my drawings. Hang on one second here. All right, there we go. Got the drawing back, and then we'll put that line on the bottom. So here we have the high and the low of that explosion candle that they had on the crude oil inventories back on the 29th. So as we continue forward, we can see, oh, wait a minute. That's acting as a pretty strong level of support. And hey, again, another big level of support. If we keep going forward, and this is where things, I think, start getting a little bit crazy. Because this is in September 2nd, okay? September 2nd is that Sunday, right? The full, the week has gone by. They've gone through the weekend. This is Sunday. And Monday was a holiday, okay? So Sunday, basically, not really anybody's going to be trading. But sure enough, it still acted as a massive level of support. And that was the bottom of the day for a very long period of time. And if we go in to the, let's see, what date is this? The 4th, we can see that the support started breaking down a little bit, but they went to the lows and bounced right off of it as support there, came up, and now we have resistance, right? Once support breaks down, usually becomes resistance. Here we have support, support breaks down, probably going to become resistance. Look at the resistance at the highs. I mean, these levels are absurdly strong. And the big question now becomes, well, if that's the case, how long do we watch these things for? So if we go back to the 29th, where all of the support and resistance came off of, let's go back a week before that, right? So the 29th was that Wednesday. If we go back before that, the 22nd is the Wednesday before that. So let's go back a little ways here. This is the 22nd. And we're going to take those same lines. I'll just copy paste them down here. So let's get those there so I can draw these correctly. So we have the inventory spike candle right there. So what we want to do is we want to keep an eye on whether or not this is support and resistance. Now again, same deal. That same day, obviously going to act as a pretty big level of support. Not that much of a surprise there with a big move having support the same day at that same area. It's kind of common sense. But can we bring this forward? Sure enough, massive level of support comes in. If we go forward still, I don't think we've ever come down that far again to test it. Doesn't look like it. But this just goes to show you that just because a level of support or resistance has been broken, it's not necessarily time to forget about it yet. There is still a potential very large opportunity that's waiting there. Let's go back again, right? So we know that 2 weeks back, they've acted really, really well. Maybe it's just a fluke. Let's go to the 15th. That's the Wednesday before that. I don't even know if I have that many days of data on here. 16th, 15th. There we go. All right. So we have the inventory candle, which is this guy right there. So let's copy paste this down. That right there. And then we can zoom in. There we go. So that is the support and resistance on that inventory candle. And again, not a big surprise to see a bunch of support and resistance coming off of there on the same day. But how does this respond going forward? This is the next day. Support, support, a little bit of resistance, back to support, 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 boatload of support and resistance inside there, massive support inside there. Okay, let's keep going forward. Does it ever come back down there again? Doesn't look like it does. So all we have to work with is that high of support. So here we can see resistance and support, support and resistance, support and resistance. Hey, what do you know? That level seems to be pretty darn effective. So one thing to keep in mind, whenever there's a large spike in the markets, it doesn't matter where the spike is, doesn't matter if it's for today or not, these are definitely going to be levels that you're going to want to keep an eye on. Here we have the inventories for today, right? Now the inventories for today came out at 11 o'clock because it was a slight delay. So we'll categorize those as today's levels of support and resistance. That high is at 68.80 and that low is down at 68.52. So what I would encourage you to do is do a little bit of studying yourself. Look at all of these big news. It doesn't matter whether it's a tweet from President Trump that causes the markets to go nuts. It's a big spike because someone's testifying in court or whatever. They're levels of interest that you do not want to lose sight of until they really start showing that nobody really cares about them anymore. Something to think about. So that's going to do it for this one. I hope you had a fantastic trading day today. I hope you have a phenomenal trading day tomorrow. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, jbrink@slingshotfutures.com. Don't forget to give the video a like. Underneath the video, click on subscribe. Click on the notification bell icon to the right of it so you're notified every time one of these videos comes out. You do not want to miss them. They're loaded full of good information. Maybe a little bit biased on that one. Aside from that, though, enjoy the rest of the day. I hope you had a fantastic trading day today. And yeah, if you're going to be trading in the afternoon, just be a little bit careful. There's not a whole lot of news left. But you know, maybe do a little bit of studying. What better way to get some of this studying in than on a slow afternoon? Have a good one, and we'll see you all in the next one.